Good evening here on the Central Riverhawks YouTube channel. I'm Joel McCall. We're visiting now with Haley Williams. She's the head coach for the Central Riverhawks volleyball team. Really excited to talk to you, Coach Williams. Thank you, first of all, for your time and doing this interview tonight.
Yes, thank you for having me. Excited to be talking to you.
Well, we were just talking about your first year at volleyball. Here you are in your fourth year with the Riverhawks. Last season, I want to touch on it just a little bit. We don't have to talk about it for very long. 10-17 last year, lost in the playoffs to Onalaska 3-1, graduated several. I mean, we're talking, I believe, 7 seniors is what you had on the squad. So really, you said goodbye to a very large group. I'm going to talk about your new group in just a second, but really, that's a lot to see goodbye and saying goodbye in that Riverhawks jersey.
Yeah, I think we had 8 and then 9 with one of our senior managers, but definitely was huge loss to our program. We had a good senior class, a lot of girls that had spent a lot of time. But it's exciting to see those step up this offseason, especially knowing that there were so many spots open on our team this fall. We only have 5 returners.
Right.
So excited to see what that group of seniors does now in this next chapter of their life. We have one just left to play D2 volleyball in Seattle. So I'm excited to follow her journey now as a college athlete too. But they're all going to do some wonderful things in their futures.
Yeah, definitely. And well, now we could talk about your off-season schedule. What have you and the girls kind of been doing since season ended last fall?
Yeah, a lot of our girls have played club in some capacity, some kind of more those longer seasons of November to May, June, some with more of a kind of shortened depending on their schedules too and their levels of play they wanted to play. And summer's been really busy. We've been doing open gyms twice a week. We've had our summer league at the Omni Center for all levels, ran a 3-day camp. We had a couple summer tournaments too in July. So we've gotten lots of volleyball this summer.
My guess is that you could tell me some stories from the camp, but it might have to be off season or off the air as opposed to on the air. But how cool is it for a bonding experience to have those girls be there for 3 days?
Yeah, it was nice. It got me excited for season to see the potential in our gym. We had over 60 girls there for our
Wow.
high school camp. But I also love seeing them step up, and we do an elementary and middle school camp too, and them stepping into those leadership roles with those little kiddos, giving back to the program too was fun to see. Long days, but very rewarding.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's always fun to see the littles and trying to look up to the bigs too. You
Yeah.
know, you get that dynamic, and it's like, oh, they're maybe not role model, but they're like that could be, they're kind of like the heroes of the day when you have to watch those high schoolers when the little kids are watching them. And what I would
Yeah.
ask now is what your biggest obstacle has been to this point, because I know today you actually were deciding teams and cuts and all those types of things. So has that been kind of the biggest obstacle, is to try to piece everything together?
Yeah, I would say that we had over 70 girls registered to try out, and thankfully we have a 4th level team now, but just finding those pieces with only 5 varsity returners. And there we have a setter in there, a passer, hitters, middles. We do have like that basis covered, but we needed girls that will be playing on the court a lot with only 5 returners. So it was fun to try a bunch of different things, different lineups to find the perfect piece for the varsity team this year, and also with our other levels.
Well, and I'm sure you're trying to find, as you said, chemistry. You're probably trying to look for that as well. And the other thing is that you need all around players too. And so are you trying to find that as well as trying to figure out, okay, well, this person can play DS, but I need a few more that could work all the way around and be more versatile.
And that's a talk we kind of had as a program too these past couple days, is being open to be trying new things, because a lot of players nowadays are, I'm an outside hitter, I'm a DS, and very in a one-track mind that we're trying to break. Obviously some of our tall middles might not be the best passers in the world. I was a 6 rotation passer or middle, so I still hold hope on that. But like some of our DSs will never be able to block. Like that I understand you're kind of limited that way, but just making sure our all of our athletes on all 4 teams are open to trying new things. We might need to use them in different ways. But yeah, definitely trying to find some more all-around players that can do more than one skill.
Well, you know where I'm probably going is setter first. I mean, you're trying to replace a good one, coach. Vienendahl was so good last year. Avery was such a solid player for you. What does that position look like right now?
Yeah, so we have a junior coming in. She's been on varsity the past 2 years, but as in a passing role, Sierra Freed. And she is a terrific setter. So Avery was a huge loss, but I'm feeling really confident about what we have coming in still. We're gonna try some also 6-2s because Sierra is also a very good passer. She's passed for us, she can hit. So she's that all-around player that I'm really excited and feeling very blessed to have these next 2 years. Besides just her play, her leadership is amazing, especially as a junior coming in. So she is going to be a great leader for us in the many roles that she can play on the court. So I'm really excited to see her shine in that setter role, and then also in whatever other roles we need her to be, because she will be that player.
Yeah, again, I think of a setter. If you're new to volleyball, I always think of a setter as a quarterback. You have to guide everybody. You're trying to please everyone too. I gotta get the ball. I gotta have the ball. So it's such an important position. Again, we're talking with Coach Williams, the head coach for Central Volleyball here on the Central Riverhawks YouTube channel. Let's talk about hitters then. I'm going to bring that up too, because we're just going to work all the way around. And of course, the defense doesn't get any love. So we'll talk about the back row last. But let's talk about hitters. Who's stepping up for you?
Yeah, we have Ruby Gerhardt and Alyssa Brickson coming back, middles, and also Ruby is a nice right side for us, so we'll be able to fit that piece. And then Aaliyah Shields on the outside. She's really worked hard this off season, and it's paying off and it's showing. So I'm excited to see her hitting on the outside. We do have a couple freshmen coming in too. We do have 2 freshmen on the varsity team this year. One's another middle that I know she can be versatile too, middle outside. So excited to just start our first team practice tomorrow and start figuring out these pieces, because first conference match is in a week. So insane.
Correct.
It'll fly.
Yeah, exactly. You got Onalaska coming next week. Well, and when we talk about your hitters, I think last year, one of the things that I noticed wasn't quite there was the technique. I thought some people were kind of jumping a little bit off at times and whatnot. So have you tried to figure that out? I mean, it's so difficult because there's so much going on. There's so much happening. And then to try and say, well, we really need to narrow down one thing. You can't really do that. But
yeah.
I would ask about technique.
Yeah. Summers are hard because it's limited of what coaching I can do with the girls. But I know a lot of these girls have had a competitive club season, but also have been to a ton of college camps too this summer. I'm working on that technique. We're going to be on boxes a lot for hitters, working on that timing too. That's really what we can do with these 2-a-day practices coming up these summer weeks. Really just focusing and zoning in on that, making sure that's solid. So I'm excited to get to work tomorrow and start working all areas. Hittings, definitely. We got to terminate balls more as a team this year, but also we can't do that without a pass. So really focusing on it all will be, we've got a lot of work to do, but this is a group that is ready to take it on, and I'm really excited for that.
Well, the passing always comes from the back row. So let's talk about that back row and the defense.
Yeah, we're returning Laurel Erickson, our libero. She will be only a junior this year, which we're excited for too, to have her for 2 more years. But she has really blossomed this last off season into this year. I thought she had a really nice sophomore year, but her leadership in the back row, I think, is what I've loved to see the most, has grown. She is commanding that back row. And it's really, really, really fun to watch her play. So I'm excited to see all she'll accomplish this year. And then our other passers are filling in from our second level team. They're ready to go get after it and fight for spots to start. So I'm ready to work with them all. Very excited.
You tell Erickson I'll be watching on Tuesday night. I want to see if she can be the captain back there, because that was my question on my notes, was captain of the back row. I do want to see that too. I thought the same thing. I thought she had a really good season last year. Now she's got to transfer that over. And again, she kind of has to be your leader back there, vocal leader for sure in that back row. Teams are set, as we talked about. So you already hit on a lot of the focus of what is going to be happening for the next week. You do have Onalaska coming up next Tuesday. What do you remember about the Hilltoppers from last year? Because you had to face them 3 times anyway.
Yeah, they lost a few seniors, but they were overall pretty young. So I think they're going to be one of those toughest teams to beat in our conference this year. They've got a really, really solid right side and outside, very good setters, and I'm excited to play them. I think it's going to be a tough first test, but I think it will really help us grow in the direction that we need to, no matter the outcome. Our girls can put up a fight against them. But it'll be exciting. It's going to be a tough start. But I'm excited to go after it right away against them.
Yeah, you turn around after that, then that's again Tuesday, and then you have your match at the Onalaska tournament the very next day, which is 3 matches I saw on the schedule. Those are already set. So thank you to Max Preps for having that on there. I appreciate it. So I do want to reiterate that the YouTube channel here, the Central YouTube channel, will be broadcasting play-by-play of the home matches throughout the season. I will be on the call because Nami is not going to call volleyball. So I will be there doing play-by-play. I'm really looking forward to it. We did it last year, and I'm hoping we can fit in a few road games too, as long as the facilities can have us and host us and find us a spot. So I'm really looking forward to the season. You know how much I like volleyball, Coach Williams. You already knew that anyway, since I do some stuff for the junior college level as well. So I'm hitting the ground running. I'm ready, and I look forward to seeing you guys on Tuesday night.
Yes, we're super excited to have you call in our games again. We're very blessed at Central to have you. So thank you for taking the time doing this too.
Of course, that's Coach Williams then of the Central Riverhawks volleyball team. Again, I want to reiterate too, we had Coach Olson on last night for football. Well, we have football coming up then on Thursday. That start time at UWL is at 8 o'clock. There is a game prior, so that kickoff is scheduled for 8 o'clock. We'll see if that even happens. If it's actually 8 o'clock, might be later than that. Who knows? But again, thank you to Coach Williams. We'll have her back on with us next Tuesday when we do the volleyball match afterwards. Hopefully, if it's a W, we'll be talking to a player as well. The girls are already nervous about that. I'm Joel McCall. Thank you so much for tuning in here on the Central Riverhawks YouTube channel.